Hello, welcome everyone. Let's see if my voice is coming through correctly. Let's try Twitch. Yes, it looks like it is correct. All right, we can start. 1 second. Let's make this there. Great. So hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Idle Callback. So this is my 4th stream, and I would like to continue what I started in the last episode. Actually, it was the dropped entries count for the performance observer callback. But then, while I was looking at it at home after the stream, I noticed that there were some other things that I wanted to fix. So probably I will first look at those other issues that I've found and talk about it a bit more, and then we can continue with the dropped entries count. But we've read the spec, we've talked about it a little bit in the previous session, but we haven't actually started the dropped entries count anyways. So in this episode, I intend to finish both first two of those. I guess the first one is very easy, so it's not gonna take a lot of time, and then we're gonna see the atom usage after that. So the first one, I've noticed that I was reading the code, and I noticed that the performance buffer event method was not really greatly named, because it sounds very, very generic, but it is not actually. It is only for the resource timing entries, and also it is actually a buffer full event, not buffer event. So that's why I was a bit confused by that, and I wanted to actually rename this to something clearer. One, it needs to make sure that it says resource timing entries, or resource, it has to include some resource in it, so it's a bit more specific, but also make sure that it is actually buffer full event and not buffer event. So let's take a look. I'm gonna check the stream one more time to see how that goes. Let's check OBS if everything is okay. It looks okay to me. And let's check YouTube and Twitch. So I stream in both sides, both YouTube and Twitch right now. And let's see if that works here. It works on YouTube, and let's check Twitch too. Yes, it looks like it works correctly. So yeah, like I said, first let's start with something easy. Let's finish it quickly, and then we can continue with the other one. So other thing that I noticed is that we're using some atoms in performance entry class and subclasses, but we use all ns atomize, and the atoms are atom strings that we have are atomized strings where we keep the atomic version of the strings in a table, so it is only included once, so we don't duplicate, we deduplicate them, we internalize them, and it is faster, and it's more memory efficient. But the way we use in performance entry was a bit not correct. So that's why it is correct, but it can be improved, let's say. So we have a lot of atomize here, and we know that these entry types are static. We know them in compile time. So ideally we can actually just move them into the static part of the compilation period, and then we don't have to use this NS atomize anymore. We can just directly reference the static ones. All right. So let's start with the first one though. It was this. Let's remove the other ones. So this buffer event is too generic. So, and I have this over here. Let's zoom into the code for now. So, and let's search for this. Not here, here. So this is the one that we have. If we go and look at the references, oops, you can see that it's referenced in two places. One is itself, is a definition, and then we call it here. And we can also check it in Searchfox. So Searchfox is the website that we use for searching the Mozilla Central codebase. Or now it's only the Firefox codebase, we call it, I think. So we have it, buffer event time and entry if needed. What does that do? I'm curious about this one. See, this is the real buffer event time and entry, but the other buffer event is actually a bit misleading, right? So this is the declaration. We need to change this. And then we need to rename this. So let's see if renaming it in LSP language server actually works. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So we will see. Buffer full event, I think, is more likely. But I guess we can say resource timing buffer full event. I think even though it's very long now, it is more accurate because we know that it's for resource timing and it is a buffer full event. So I saved it here. Let's see if it's actually changed. Let's see, search performance, buffer event. No, it's changed. I just need to save. And then in the declaration, I don't know if buffer profiler, no, performance.h buffer event. Yeah, this is not changed. So let's copy and paste it. Oh, I also saw something. So this needs to change too, right? Queue a task to run fire buffer full event. Yes. So this is what we want instead. And this has been changed to now. Let's build it to see if it's gonna build. Since we changed the headers, it might take slightly longer to compile. In the meantime, let's take a look if we need to change somewhere else. So we have the performance CPP that's changed. Do we need to change the comment? Let's read it. Steps are labeled according to the description found at this. And then this is buffer full event. So it actually explains that this is a buffer full event here, but it says buffer event here. So it's quite confusing to me. So that's why I wanted to rename this, because there's nothing non-resource. So let's read this. We look at the secondary resource entries, and this while ends here. And then we only look at resource entries if you look at this. So there is nothing else that we touch, and then we dispatch buffer full event. I assume, not here, it's the main thread. It's C resource timing buffer full. This is the event that we dispatch, which is, again, it's the resource. And probably we can actually rename this too, right? Because it says buffer full event, but it needs to be resource timing buffer full event. Yeah, let's do it. Let's append tier 2. Let's say rename this as well. Okay, so I think, let's see if it's built. Yeah, it's compiled correctly. Let's go to a branch that says buffer full or resource buffer full. Let's check the diff. This is the diff, which is very straightforward. Let's lint it. Okay, and I guess we can commit this already. Bug. This is the ID that we use. Rename. So I want to append this commit the other changes, that this change that I or yeah, let's rename only this actually. Rename. Let's remove the backticks. Rename welcome to this, and then I need to ask someone for a review, and I think Justin would be the best person to look at that. Yeah. Okay, great. So let's build again to see. Yeah, I think this is done already, because if it compiles, that's fine for us, since we didn't touch anything related to the behavior itself. We only renamed the function, so this is fine. And then we can actually rename this too, right? So we have it in a bunch of places. So let's rename this dispatch resource. What did I rename the other one to again? Resource timing buffer full event. So I guess I can do this similarly. Resource timing buffer full event. Again, it is long, but still I think it's more descriptive. Let's check. So this is updated, this is updated, this is updated, this is updated, this is updated. Now let's build again. It should build again. What's this one? Let's see. I'm curious. I think this is what we call inside the performance worker. Oops. Yeah, I forgot to save this file. So this is what we call in the service worker. So it's usually like they're not being called at all. I don't know if we should, for this case, it's unclear when and how resource timing buffer full should be dispatched on workers during sync loops, import script and sync xhr, for instance. Ooh, okay, this was 8 years ago. It's quite an old one. There is a discussion topic, clarify behavior of set. Okay. Since it's closed, I assume that's been fixed. Ideally, let's next. Maybe we can work on this next. And then let's do this. Yeah, maybe we can work on this and implement this properly. All right. Let's see if it's built. Yes, it's done. Let's check the code itself. Very straightforward. I guess I can do the same thing, but this two. Because I was confused by this initially, since we had this like dropped entries count. So I was looking at where we actually where can we add this dropped entries count, and I saw that we actually dispatched some events for resource timing, but I was confused by that buffer full event because it was specifically for resource timing and not for the other events or other entries. That's why I wanted to make this more specific. All right, so, and we can maybe give some, like expand the messages here. So we explain the reasoning behind this commit, and also I'm gonna change the other commit as well. Previously it was called, but it was only confusingly, but it actually dispatches an event called, okay, now let's search for that event again. What was the name? This is the main thread, resource timing buffer full. This was confusing to me. It's confusing. Naming change fixes the confusion. I always say confusingly, so I don't think this other sentence brings any value. Okay, so I can copy this and I'm gonna use it for the same one, for the previous one. Oops, what happened? And then we do rename. Okay, previously it was called buffer event, we're gonna say now, but it actually handles the logic related to the to the resource timing buffer event. All right, so let's split this into better commits. Yep, I think that is done too. Did I add Justin as a reviewer here? Yes. So I think overall, if you look at this, and this, it looks fine to me. We can submit the review for a review, and the bug number is correct. We named performance buffer full event to dispatch. Okay. Yeah, they are very small and harmless. And this has been done as well, right? Alright, so this is done. Now we can see it in Fabricator, I guess. So these draft ones. There's this one and this one. Let me check. Let me read the commit one more time to make sure that I'm not making a mistake. So I just usually do this. I reread it and make sure that I don't really have any issues in the patch. Like I just self-review it myself. So it says resource timing buffer full event. Resource timing buffer full event. Okay, buffer full event. Yes, these are correct. And look at the. Let's take a look at the second one. Dispatch resource timing buffer full event. Yes. Which one was this again? This one is the one that we looked. Yeah. Okay. I think it is done. So this is called draft, but it gets out of the draft state after a bit. yeah, I published them as non-draft. So right now it says it's a secure revision. It takes a couple of minutes to go out of this state, and we don't have to wait for it. I guess it happens automatically. It's doing this. Apparently it's waiting for this task. All right, so we are done. And if you have any questions, please let me know. This was one thing that I wanted to do. And the second one is a bit more changes. Like, it's not as straightforward as this one. I talked a little bit about this like a few minutes ago. So this is the atom usage that we have. So we have a lot of like NS atomize and things like that. So let's see, in an atom. If you look at atom, so we have NS atom get name. So we have a reference to this ref ptr. This is another thing we need to think about, I think. And then entry type. So these are going to be, so we create non-static, like dynamic atoms for these specifically, but I think we don't really need to do that, especially for entry type. If you look at this, like so we have this constructed here, and we don't have it constructed anywhere else. We use it here, we use it here, we use it here, and we use it here. Oh no, sorry, we constructed here too. Set entry type. Yeah, that's another thing we need to look then. Yeah, first input, and navigation. And if you look at the SFNS atom, we have this NS atom, dynamic atom or static. Where is that atom list? Maybe static atoms.py. So this Python file generates a bunch of static atoms, as you've seen. So this is super useful when there are so many strings that are repetitive. For example, you will see div here. Because we use div in so many places, it makes sense to deduplicate it and then use it in a single place only as an atom. So, and then if you need to do, for example, string match, like to check if the string is the same as another one, instead of like doing a real string match, you just do a location, like a pointer match, because you know that this will always be in a specific location in memory, in the hash map. So you don't have to do this expensive string comparison anymore, and you can just directly use check it so quickly that if it's the same or not. So yeah, we need to append this one. For example, do we have like largest contentful? We don't have. Do we have first contentful full? No. Oh no, I'm searching the wrong one. Largest, no. We don't have first input. We have. Yeah, so we have first input. Implement performance first. Okay, so we have this first. Let's check if there's any other first. And largest we don't. Events or navigation we have. What is this used for? Probably it's used for other things. But I think it's good to actually create a different location for in this file, like create another location. For example, you see like web codecs, MSE, namespaces. These are all like marked specifically, like explicitly in this file. So I think it makes sense to have performance API section where, or performance entry types section. So yeah, first input. we can remove this first input and move it to that location. Let's do it. Let's remove this. Let's maximize, and what was the name? Static atoms py. And then first input is the one that we have. Let's remove it. Let's go down in the page. For example, atom list is present below. Ah, I see. So if it's present below or above, they explicitly like comment it out. Okay, so yeah, this is all like generic atoms that we have. I think it's good to, like, for example, like simple gesture, sport, pointer events. Like we should have a different section for this, I think. Web extensions, CSS scanner styles. Yes, here I think it's good to have performance entry types. And then we can actually do this like so, and then paste the previous event that previous atom that I removed, and then I can copy and paste these, I guess. And let's see what we add. And then so we added first input, right? So I think this can change now. And then we have navigation. But navigation was actually used here. So I will do it like this. And here, this one. And then I'm gonna comment this out. And I'm gonna say navigation is present above. Present above. Yes. And let's copy and paste some more. And what else do we need? Yeah, let's delete these. Oops. Yeah, and I can add things here. So we added navigation too, but this was only for set entry type, right? And it means that there must be another way, like the one that we've seen, like the constructor. So let's take a look at this, and let's see where we are using this. So largest contentful paint. Let's go to largest contentful paint, and which it's not 23. Oh, sorry, 61. Here, yeah, we have K, largest color, this one. Okay. I guess we can also change, like remove this or move it somewhere else, right? Or, oh, this will be removed anyways when we convert it into an atom. So let's put this, and let's do largest contentful paint. Well, and then there's this one, right? Event. Oops. Event, but I'm sure event will be here already. Like event, yeah. Event is present above. Okay. And another one pasted here. What else? We put the event. This is a copy constructor. Don't mind it. Mark. Okay, mark is here already too. This is getting interesting. So maybe we don't need this. Measure is here too. Yeah, I can change this in a bit. Now that I'm looking at it more, most of the things are already present. so we might want to fix it. Paint will be there too, yeah. All right, so, and then resource 2, I assume. Okay. Lots of things are apparently there. So one thing that I don't like, for example, first we have first input, first paint is not there. Where is the first paint? Okay. Do we have first paint? We don't have it. Performance. First contentful. Interesting. Yeah, we only have them in tests. Then how are we given this here? First contentful paint. Yeah, maybe I can just Adam that starts with L. Okay. Where is this? Yeah, this part is where we have L's. Largest here, right? So we can add this here, and entry types, first input. Yeah, we don't need them anymore either, because like they're all included in other places, but first input was removed. So I undo this, and let's check what's the situation. Yeah, apparently like lots of them are already included in atoms, so they don't need to be here explicitly, but we should still change the usage of them and make sure that they're properly handled. But let me check the same thing again, 1 second. So we have the event. Let's search for this. We got measure, paint, and everything. Okay. And then I'm gonna remove this, because you will see set event entry type. Where was this being used again? Is it here? And no, not here. 1 second, let me copy this. Let's search for it. Yep. And then I can just do this. So yeah, like as you can see, we have lots of entry types and a string. Yes, for example, like this can change. Yeah. Okay. So let's change this. Where do we do this? This one. Let's remove ns atomize and send ns atom instead. But I assume that's not gonna be a reference. Then it's gonna be a pointer instead. And so another question is, do we keep a reference or only like ref pointer? So I haven't used NSAdams that much in the past. That's why I want to make sure that like its static ones are properly static ref ptr. I'm not. I think NS static atom is what I want. And then this is going to change into an aesthetic atom. All right, entry type. Where do we use this? Here. Yeah. So this is one, this is two, this is another. So we already returned an NSAtom. I think that should work. This is not gonna work, right? We need to pass an cons NS static atom pointer. Probably like, yeah, it's gonna complain because it's const, but I need to send it this way. And yeah, I think it works mostly now. Here, remove the const. Let's see if that's gonna build. It's not, but I'm curious. And now we need to change how we do this. For example, here, this was that in the header already, so that's, oh. Get entry type to string. Okay. This works. Yeah, I need to change the colors of this. Here I was like converting the string into the atom, but I think instead we can do, how do we do that again? For example, like, do we use this? Yes, NSGK atoms, column, first input. That was the thing, right? gdef. Yeah, it was first input. We fixed the first input again. Where else we call this? Here. Change it NSGK atoms first input. And then do we have any others in this file? Yep. NSGK atoms first input. Great. And then let's see if there are others. I guess not. But there were some, right? Let's check that again. First one there. Navigation. Here. So, but what does it call? The same one. Okay. So NSGK atoms navigation build, and this will fix the set entry type one, but it's not gonna fix the constructors. So we actually need to change them as well. Let's take a look at them again. Yeah, so this one, wait, what am I doing here? Yeah, this one and this one. So we need to change the largest contentful paint. I guess I can search by this one. Yep. So the first one is this, and that nsg key gk atoms first content, no, largest content will paint largest. Yep. Here we change nsg key atoms event, and here this is a copy constructor, get entry type. What does that return? ns atom, so that's fine. Here nsg key atoms mark, another one, nsg key atoms measure. Oh, there's another constructor apparently. Or no? One second. Let me take a look at that. So this is the, yeah, okay, no. I was correct. Yeah. So we changed the measure. I don't know why it's complaining for now. No mention constructor. That's fine, let's continue. Or nsg key atoms paint. It's gonna be a resource for this. What else? I think it's mostly it, but I think it's because I didn't change this ns an static atom and then pointer of it, and then remove this, right? Because if you look at the definition of this jk atom, and like it has a specific pointer, it's been building. Let's see if it's gonna compile correctly. Like we have this has this, and then this atomic atom. Yep, I think it should be. Oh, well. Where else is the problem? Let's check. Append element. Where do we append it? This one. Oh, because we removed it, right? Yeah. I think we should change this too, actually. Where is the entry type? NS string sequence. Where's the maybe entry types? Here. Can we? Okay, let's check. So this is where we have this. And then I wonder if we have like NS atom. Not quite. NS. Let's check this one. Inflate char 16 seconds, atom char, array, atom, DOM, inside the DOM, let's see. Yeah. I think we can keep this part as is for now, because it requires us to change the, so this is the generated version, right? Like for example, let's look for this. Can we do this? Yeah. And then ns Atom. We don't really have a way to convert it into Atom, I think. Oh, thanks, Fusion Plays. Yeah, it's pretty generic actually, but yeah, I spent some time setting it up, and now I'm happy about it. So let's build. So the build compilation error is because of this. Like we removed this one, and now it complains that we actually don't have it, right? So if I remove it back, I add it back, probably it's gonna compile. I want to remove it eventually, but maybe as a first step, I can just like keep it for now. Yeah, the tabs are not so generic, I guess. I'm using Catpuccine. Catpuccine, but I've changed it after a bit. So like there are some, like this is a generic version, I guess. But then I added a lot of like custom changes like these. But if you look at the, I think there were some like in the issues, maybe people were like sharing their own custom like visualizations and things like that, and I copy pasted a lot from them. Is it here? I don't know. Maybe not in the issues, maybe in somewhere else. Their phone documentation. Getting started guide, maybe it's linked here somewhere. Getting started, custom status line segments. There was like a showcase where people, showcase here. there are like lots of interesting ideas that you can implement with this. I think I copy pasted a lot from here. Maybe, oh yeah, look at this. So it looks similar to this one in a way, but not exactly. So yeah, like you can copy paste from here and change it whatever you like. Yeah. So let's go back. It's not build again. I don't know why. Let's check. NS dependent atom string to NS static atom. It's not possible. Okay, let's check this line. Yeah. Over here. Oh, yeah. It tries to convert it into NS dependent atom string, which is incorrect now because it's not a string anymore. It's just an atom itself. So this should work. So, oh no, again, it's not working. Is it in the same place? Yeah. This is const NS atom, maybe because of that. Yeah, it's trying to convert the const into an static atom. I can cast it. I can just remove this, which should work. I don't want to do it though. How do we use this, for example? Let's add another one that returns NS static atom. Get entry type. Get static. like so, it should work, and then I can change this into const instead. Again, I don't know if this is gonna build, but I can try. Yeah, let's check this. What was the previous error I got? I think it was something else. Yeah, I think it's fine. Yeah, it's a question if I can actually convert the NS atom into NS static atom. Let's look for that. I assume. Oh wait, we store it as an static atom. Oh yeah, we can do that. And then, because if you look at the anesthetic atom, it inherits from NS atom. So this is true, but also we can add our own stuff that should work. This is probably better. Get entry type as static atom, or yeah, I'm not so sure. I guess this name is okay. If you have any other suggestions, let me know. I'm terrible at naming things, so I guess I can work with that for now. Or can we have an overload? Maybe. Yeah, this should build now. It's taking a while because I'm changing the headers all the time, and Firefox is a big code base, and it takes a while to build everything. But this should work. And let's check the diff. SGK atoms import is fine. This is fine. This is fine too. This is fine. Right, is this fine? Yeah, it's fine, it's fine. This one is fine. This is fine too. Fine, 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 fine. This is too. Yeah, mostly it looks fine to me. So I'm gonna go to another branch actually, because this was for the previous task. So let's say event or perf entry atoms. Then let's do whoop. Work in progress for now. Mac lint. Let's fix the lint errors if there are. Nope. Oops. Okay. And there were a few more things I wanted to fix, and not only this. Maybe we can find them by looking at the here, like let's see where we use this. We only use it one here. Get entry type. This is expected. I want to keep that. This is 2. This is 2. That as well. That as well. And this too. So let's see where we use this get entry type now. I'm also enjoying your stream. Add me. I've done this kind of joining your nice one. Yeah, sure. I will add you later. Thanks. And thanks for watching my stream. Let's see. Get entry type. We're using it in a bunch of places. Let's see. The first one is here. Entry type, and we atomized already here, which is not great. We have get entry by type. Where do we use this? This is an IDL, so it's being called directly as a string. I wish there was a way to get an atomized string here directly. I don't know if that's possible. I think I'm gonna reach out to some people and see if it is possible, because that would have been so good if it was. Because like we have to atomize it here already, which is not ideal, right? Yeah, how do I do that? So for example, like there are like equals literal. This can be changed very quickly. Like we can have something called const and as atom. So let's move this to the top, for example. A entry type and entry type. And then we can change this to entry type dot equals this equals nsg key atoms resource. Now it's faster, and then we don't need to do the same thing again here, right? We can just do the same dance we did here. Oops, no, not there. Where was I? Oh, here, yeah. Like I can just copy this part, then paste it into here, and then say mark, and the same thing as well, like here, and paste and say measure, and then this is gonna be the same thing. I guess, yeah, that's correct. So we just atomize once and then use it everywhere for checking strings, which is it should be a lot faster than usual. Let's compare this. Let's check if it builds. I guess we have like this is get by type, and we have get entries by name, which we should have like entry type past and it's atomize. We atomize here. Oh, look at this. It has the same check already here, actually. Yeah. I think, yeah, there are so many more things we can actually fix here. But I guess since we have this, I'm gonna remove this one. Like, let's remove this. All right. I don't know. So this is the entry type that we get. If it's optional, it's this. If it's otherwise, it's null pointer. And again, we get as a string. I'm curious, like how we handle things like atoms in WebIDLs. If we have some, this can give us some clues on like if there are things. Area atomic. Raya. Not really. Let's see how this is being used. Or is there something? See reaction. Okay. These are the bindings. This one. Nope. This one? Nope. So many bindings here and there. Like these are all generated files, so it's a bit confusing to navigate sometimes. This should be what I'm looking for. Not maybe the internal one. Nope. But this is not the generated one at least, so we can know, like this is the NSA string. Okay. Yeah. So this is not the generated one, and we can see that it actually is attribute. Interesting. Here are some things. Yeah, I wish. For example, this one. Where do we use this? Set attribute elements. And then this is being called to controls. Not really. Not really what I'm looking for still. Yeah, I wish there could be a way to do that. Atom IDL. Nope. Oh, this should work. Like it's not as good as I would like it to be, but it works. And I think we need more changes to how we handle the atomic like entry types in general. For example, like we atomize here and use it here, but in the other place where we've seen entry type sequence, like that needs to change too. Where is that? So we can remove this now. So I think I'm gonna leave this again to the next stream because we made some good progress here, and I think I can already like submit this as a patch. Like, oops. Let me amend this to the previous commit, like so. And let's change the commit text. Just gonna be bug. What was the ID here? Let's copy and paste it here. Improve how we improve. Is it improve? Use static atoms directly for performance entry types. And then I'm gonna ask for Justin for a review, but probably Smog. It will be good for Smog to look as well. Let's check. All right. Yep. Let's write some more. Previously it was previously we were passing strings to the constructor for performance entry types, but we don't need that since we know them for sure during the compile time. We can it makes it easier to use the static atoms instead, and atoms. Let's make it easier to use static atoms, easier, and static atoms, and they should be faster than the previous code. I don't know how fast this or how big of a difference this makes, but I think still it's useful to have this. So it's one, it's faster, and two, like why do we need to do the string conversion every time since while we have the atoms? Yeah, let's build again just to make sure. I think I want to do more. Like I want to improve this code more. Like the one that I've seen in, where was that? Let me check again. This one, for example, this value should be removed ideally. This one. Let's not rename, but let's see where this is being used again. Like all around this part in the performance observer. So we have entry types, right? And this is a string. Can we do like value? It returns the value. Okay. Let's search for this. This is only here. See, we have a lot of like contains, if this contains, if that contains, and things like that. I think we shouldn't do this, right? Because one, they're strings, they're slower. Two, like we can either use atoms or we can create our own enum for entry types in general. And then we can use them. Like we can even use, like instead of contains, we can have a bitmap. Bitmap. No, not bitmap. Oh, I can't come up with the name. Let's see. So yeah, this is like a very expensive thing that we do here. I don't think we should do those. Entry types, name, yeah, like literal string, for example. For example, look at this. We have a list, we have an array of valid event time in entry type names, and valid type names. Those shouldn't be kept as strings. Those should kept as enum values. Bitmask. I was gonna say bitmask instead of bitmap. So yeah, we can use them either as bitmask values or we can have a different thing. Right? I'm checking. Let's see where we reference this. We have it here. Like for example, we have a for loop, and then we check if it contains. Instead, we can simply check if the bitmask contains that. It's gonna be a lot faster than this. Maybe that's one for another, but let's see. Where do we use this again? For example, here, right? And this is in the performance observer observe method. Yeah, here is this method, and then we get a list of sequence of types, maybe entry types. I wonder how Chrome handles this. Probably more efficiently, I think. I don't know. Like, this is not as efficient as I hope. Maybe type. For example, type. This can be an enum or like an atom instead of a string. But I don't know if we have, like, this all comes down to this observer init, which is a binding. Like it's an auto-generated file, and it's a bit more difficult to actually touch these files. For example, we can say, let's check how this has been yeah, for example, performance observer init is a DOM string. So this automatically generates a DOM string as an S string. And entry types as well. But I think there should be a more performant way to handle this. Let's see. Let's see how, let's see if we have some usages of these. For example, here, matches or types. How do we handle trusted types? To JSON. Okay. We have this. And this is a similar thing. Not exactly. A token is a string, and this is another string. I wonder how we can, that's the thing. Like, this is a huge code base, and it takes a while to get around to it, like, to understand like how we can improve this, because I know that this can be improved in general, ideally, but I don't know if it can be improved with the current bindings that we have. Sequence, like, for example, optional, let's check this one and check for atom. No. And a string atom regex search. Atom's length, atoms and a string. Atom string. Guess let's move it the other way around. Not case sensitive. And a string set properly, name and value. Okay. So I think what we need to do is, one, maybe we can defer to this as a follow-up. Create an enum for performance entry types. Instead of storing the strings, store enum values. Instead of storing an array of entry types, store a bit mask. And what else? I think, yeah, like these should be it, right? Oh, we need to have a conversion. Might need to have a conversion between atoms and enum values, I think. Or instead of having an enum value, we can use a hash map of atoms, but that's not great. It's a lot easier to have a bitmap instead. Not bitmap, bitmask. Ugh. Yeah, this is a start, I think. This patch is definitely a start. Did I do any changes? No. Let's see. Can this observe method be improved without touching the bindings? That's another question. So this is like the maybe type is definitely a type, right? So it's passed. If it's not passed, okay. So here is where we do, I guess we can create the ref pointer atom and as atom here, right? And as what was that? Atomize. And let's do that like this. So we have the type. Now it's gonna be cheaper to do the name. This is string literal still. And like we can do things like type equals this. Ideally, we should change this to, yeah. Let's convert into NS static atom pointer. And then we're gonna have like change inside this. And this was event, NS gkey atoms, event, right? And then NS gkey atoms, first input. And then instead we can do this. Static atom pointer. And then it's gonna, instead of having an equal, we can directly check for equality, which is gonna be vastly faster than a string equality. So, and that's gonna be the same const. The static atom, and then this is gonna be a pointer, but this needs to change as well. Okay, so let's get key atoms, mark, measure, navigation, NSG key atoms, paint, and NSG key atoms, resource. Oops, no. And this is gonna be a static atom pointer. And let's check if that's working well. Not really. Let's see. This one is the problem. Let's find where it is. And then we have, so no viable conversion from ref pointer atom to string. I can change that too. Right. But this is being used by multiple places. Can change this. So let me check. So this get entries by type for observer is here. And this calls get entries by type. What's the difference between this and this? It doesn't make sense. Why do we have this function, this method in between? Like, we can simply call this instead of this, right? Or is there like a conversion that we do in between? Nope. I assume get entries by type is also called, like this is an IDL, so we can't change this. But it means that we can convert this into string. Wait. String, how do we convert this? Get UTF-16 or I guess this one, right? Can I convert to type this? Could I bind from R value of to string? Damn it. I guess, but we have the string above. Let's do it this way. Const, what was that? NS string type string equals this. Then type string, this is gonna be like that, right? This converts, let me see, what was that before? That was NS string before, so we don't even need const to make it similar. And then we can pass this instead, because like we have to have this, or we have to compute this anyways. So we just pass it around. So type string. And there are some more issues here. Let's check. Aha! Now we don't need this anymore, right? Or do we use it still some places? Oh, we do. Let's check. So here we don't need that. We can just do NSG key atoms, largest contentful paint, and here params. Report to console. Guess this is gonna be type string again. Type string. Let's build. Are there any more diagnostics here? M-type. What is M-type here? Okay, that's a string, so yeah, we can do like type equals this, then remove this part altogether. I need one more closing, right? Let's build again. I think that will be it. Nope, spoke too soon. Where do we have this? Okay. Is this the same function that I changed or different one? This the same-ish, but a different location. Okay. So this is the name and valid entry types. This is not great. Yeah, I feel like we must have an enum here. Like first we add them, and then second we convert them into strings. We can do that, right? Like where else do we use this? Like we use it here, 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 here. Again, contains. Lots of contains. And if it's not it's empty, we do that. If it's, oh, that's it, we don't even use it. That definitely can be an enum. Like, we don't even send it anywhere. We just check if it's empty at the end and then report to console, and that's it. Let's keep an Atom for now, but I need a bit mask. Okay. Performance. I think for now we can change it to an S Atom pointer. Pointer 2. These should work, right? To do. Convert this into an enum with proper bit mask for a proper bit mask operations for proper, yeah. I think it's good to do this. Now it should build. Yeah, so we didn't create any enum yet. Yeah, let's do these as a follow-up. Why do you NS literal string? Yeah. We should change you in this Atom, and then this. Do we have any other diagnostics? No. Okay, these are only ones. Hopefully now that will build. Nope. Again, can you tell me where exactly? This one. Okay. Didn't I change you? This one. Where do I have? Okay. So valid entry types. This is an array of atoms, but this is the problem, right? And yep. So this is string. How to do that? Let's see. It's a bit more difficult than I thought because there are multiple arrays, one with Atom now, one with a string, and it means that either we need to change this into an Atom. This returns Guess we can't really do that. So we need to like iterate and do it like we need to have a map. I wish we can have a map. But unfortunately not. Let's see. Let's see. Just checking that. I guess the probably best way is to just copy them and do it manually. Get supported names, for example. Oops. How does that happen? In Adams contains ID. Get ID. Empty. Blah blah blah. Here we have something similar. Okay, it's not that. This one. How does it being used? Okay, yeah, this is not really the one I'm looking for. So it looks like it's a bit more work than I thought, which is fine. So it means that these changes are not enough. We need to convert. Yeah, I think the best way is to actually have an enum value that we can pass instead of an array of atoms, and then we can have a bit mask and then use that. Otherwise, like, it is possible, but just more work. Like, for example, let's remove that. Which part is this one? Is a sequence of strings, and this is a sequence. Or I can say atom, and then like have this sequence atom cpp dot h. No, not exactly. So it's not really common. I think it makes more sense to have this enum that I mentioned, because like we can convert that to like to UTF string, or is ASCII or what? Size. Would that work? And how big of a thing is it? Is static? A static string. It actually looks very easy to convert that into this, but let's check if that's gonna work. And like we can do that. This is a literal string. Yeah, this needs to change too, but I'm curious about this one, and let's just do that for now. Let's check if it builds. And I guess we need to do the same thing for here. Get UTF-16 string. (208). This is an atom. What's this? This should be fine. So we have 3 errors. One, const. Yep. Sorry. Let's continue with that. If this works, it means that we will have to like contains ns dependent Atom string actually. So what was this one? We get a string from an Atom. Amazing. Yeah, we can have this. And one more. Right, I think this should be possible. And then have this. Yeah, Mac build. Two errors generated again. Wait a second. Which line is this? So many stuff. Where is the error coming from? From this one. Yeah, that's not going to work, I think. We need to have a string, a proper string for that. Wait, valid types, yeah. That can be an Atom too, and as Atom. My gosh. Okay, so this can be an Atom. Remove that. Change this and as Atom, as key atoms, and largest contentful paint. Yeah. That's no, don't do that. All right. Yeah, that can be an Atom too. So why am I trying to convert it into a string? I guess that's not gonna be that. Let's remove that. And then what do we do with the valid types? To JS value. I hope that works. It should work though. How's it going? How would one get the job in Apache org or Mozilla org? I guess by applying. And the other great recommendation I would say is to contribute to open source. I think that's the best way to actually get into one, open source, and two, that's an amazing way for you to for them to get to know you, basically. So if you, for example, contribute to Mozilla and Firefox, and then they will see you that you are actually writing some code to them, and then they will be able to know you more. And that way, if you apply in the future, then you can say that, oh, I've contributed to Firefox before. Open source projects are complicated, yes, but there are lots of like ways to get started, And there are easier parts of Firefox, there are more difficult parts. I would recommend maybe looking at the like good first bugs. We have lots of like good first bugs in Bugzilla where you can actually find one. Imagine writing code for a browser. This is what we are doing right now. So, the most complicated. Oh, it is a very complicated software, but yeah, this is what we're trying to achieve right now, which is, which is difficult at times, but yeah, it is complicated. But if you focus on a specific part of Firefox, I would say that it's easier to get into. Like databases and data tools. Yeah, databases, great. If you are interested for them, Apache or like any open source communities are gonna be happy to get some contributors. Yeah, yeah, Apache, or you can also go for Postgres SQL, SQL. I don't know how to pronounce that. Postgres. Good first bug. Let's see. Postgres. I can even write bug tracker. Oh no. Bug tracker. Yeah, I guess that's the bug tracker. I don't know. I've never looked at it before, so I have no idea. But I'm sure they will be interested. Oh, that's actually responses. That's interesting. Yeah, I guess it's a bit more difficult. Like, for me, I know that like Bugzilla is the way to go for like finding bugs and taking a look at other things. For example, you can go to advanced search and then good first bugs, like in whiteboard you can search for a good first bug, and then you will find not lots of, but some good first bugs that you can start with. These are like easier bugs that are slightly easier to get into, and like it will let you learn how to build Firefox, how to contribute to Firefox, so these type of things. Yeah, I've never tried looking at the Postgres bug tracker, so I don't know about that one, but it's worth taking a look. So we couldn't make this build, by the way. There are some issues, I assume. Cons and cons. Which one? This one. This file is what I'm looking for, and like this line. So valid. This is not in a string anymore, right? So it doesn't matter. It doesn't make sense to have that. And then type, entry types. This is a string. Okay. Where is this coming from? Entry type contains. I guess this should work, but it's not the ideal path. I think I should have a better way of fixing this. Like I said, I think enums are a lot better, and it requires more like fundamental changes, and I think I should just undo this part and then commit or send the previous commit to a review. Let's see, for example, here. So this was that, so it contains. Why doesn't it work though? Like it says Initialization function type blah 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 ns atom already reft ns atom. Okay. Interesting. So I can just do this, put that, or no, not really. What does ns atom atomize return? Already a draft atom. Yeah, this is not what I'm looking for. Yeah, I think it's proven itself a bit more complicated at this point. The other issue that we saw here is that 2JS value. Like this 2JS value method, where was that? 2JS value here. Then we call it with an array, but this valid types is an atom, and I think 2JS value doesn't know how to convert an NS atom into a JS value. So that's why. Let's take a look. Yeah, I think I'm gonna create a new branch. We'll say things like work in progress. Let's uncomment this part too. Oh, here. Preferential atoms not working. Whip not working. Alright, I think that makes sense. Now I will try to go to my previous branch and then look at this. I think I was happy with this patch. Like, it's making things a lot more a lot less complicated, and yeah. Yep. I think I'm gonna push this now, and I'm gonna call it for today. I think I have some other things to attend to, so yeah, I think it was useful for today. We had lots of no, what's that? Use it to act. No, let's 1 second. Yeah, just let's revise this and remove those 2 commits, because they don't have to be in the same stack anymore. We can say we did improve this part a little bit. These are the follow-ups, I think. Follow-ups, and let's build it again and most fab submit. Why are you looking at the same stack again? I used revise and not rebase for removing. Okay, now it should be correct. Yeah. Now most fab submit, and then let's build it just to see. Okay. And let's look at the previous patch that we've sent. If they're non-draft now, yeah. So now this one is waiting for review. This one is waiting for review. And the other patch that we've sent, let's wait for this one. Yeah. Yeah, and then we can, after building this, we can try to run the tests, like WPT tests. Mac, for example, WPT testing performance timeline. This one, I would say. Let's try running this after it builds and see if it's gonna work. This is correct. Okay, so it's built. Let's run the test to see. I assume that this is going to be like I don't expect any changes in the passing or failing tests, right? Because I haven't changed the behavior itself. I just did some performance improvements. Why is this taking a long time to actually run? What test is this? ID element timing. Navigation ID. I think that's because it's a failing test for us, right? Let's check. Yeah, it times out, so we need to wait for the timeout apparently. ID. Let's see if it's failing on others or passing on others. Okay, it's failing both on Firefox and Safari. It's because we don't have the navigation ID yet. And also element timing. Wait, what's the test contents? Element timing. Okay, so we don't have the element timing either, so I guess that makes sense. Alright, so what is this? It's the same one. Still, I don't know what's the timeout threshold for this, but it's taken a while actually to run. Now let's look at the whole performance timeline, and not only that. So these are failing on all browsers, not just us. This is dropped entries count. This is failing. So this is this dropped entries count task that we're gonna work on. We still haven't, we couldn't start working on it yet. Hopefully I will start on the next stream. And this is more navigation ID. I want to work on navigation ID too. Maybe we can work on that together. PO disconnect. Oh, this is only failing on Edge. And sport entry types. What is the thing that is passing? Cache result. I don't know. I don't know about the cache part. Okay. Please run. Are they all timing out? Like, for example, let's take a look at this. Okay, this is true false thing. This is fail. So this is a timeout. This one, this is not a timeout. This is a timeout. So there are a few timeouts here and there. For example, this one, let's check this. Where is that? Okay, oh, it's under not restored reasons. Not restored reasons. Ooh, it's all failing here. Interesting. This is BF cache, fetch tentative iframes and things like that. So yeah, there are things we need to work on, definitely. So we can have lots of streams more. Okay, test result. We know that some tests fail, that's okay, but at least there are not unexpected results. So it means that we're done. This is improved. There are more improvements that we can make, and they are kind of requirements for this. So that's why I want to work on them first before working on dropped entries count. But yeah, thanks a lot for coming to my stream today and watching. Hopefully it was useful for you. And I would like to have another stream, maybe this week, maybe on Friday, or we can have one on next week. So I will let you know if you can. So the easiest way to follow my stream is to look at the YouTube channel that I have. And in the YouTube channel, you can search by writing Idle Callback. Hopefully you will find it there. And once you follow me on YouTube, you will see, like, before I start my stream, I actually give a notification there. Like, I put the upcoming stream there. I don't know if there's a way to do that in Twitch, but I should look into it. So yeah, thanks a lot, and thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.